everybody, it's Rachel with Rachel Q Stitches and welcome to my channel. Today I have a quilt tube for you where I am showing my projects that I'm doing, and behind me you will see I have another top made. I actually have 3 tops that I completed in this month. One of them is small, then there's this one, and there's another one that I'm gonna have to show y'all. This one is a lot bigger than my normal one, so it didn't fit on my curtain rod. So I'm going to have to insert some pictures when I talk about it so that you can see what it is. And anyway, so welcome to my channel. The first thing I want to talk to you about is my Intrepid thread block of the month, which is called Fields of Fancy. I got this in at the beginning of May, jumped right into part of it, and then I had a project that I wanted to finish up. So I finished that up, and then I'm back into it, and I want to hurry up and finish at least a couple more pieces of it before I get my June shipment in. So what am I talking about? This is Intrepid Threads. I will have a link down below for her Field of Fancy using the Field of Bloom template set by, hold up, Creative Abundance. This is a part of it. This is not the templates, but this is the pre-printed linen that you get in the kit. I do have an unboxing and I'll link it down below that you can see it. So let me show you what I've been doing. Now, if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you'll know that I started this channel cross-stitching. I knew that I was going to incorporate quilting into it. Took me a little while to do it, but for the most part, my channel was about cross-stitching. Life has thrown me some changes, and so cross-stitching has taken a back seat, but I still love hand sewing a lot. And the reason why I did this particular block of the month is because it incorporated embroidery, which is allowing me to use my massive supply of DMC floss. If you've been watching, you know that I've purchased several collectors, former stitchers collections, I should say, at estate sales. So I have a lot, and this is allowing me to use it. So I am doing the Field of Fancy embroidery, and this was so much fun. Now she includes the Cosmo floss in it, but y'all, look at this. I had so much fun doing this, and let me tell you, there's something about completion. This took me 2 evenings of me working on it while watching The Crown. Started watching The Crown. So I was able to finish this in 2 evenings. There's something about, you know, I love cross stitch. I still love cross stitch, but there's something about having something completed. And I've always loved vintage embroidery, so why not, you know? So I completed this right here. So exciting, so exciting. And I have the fabric picked out that I'm going to use for the back. If you're not familiar, the Fields of Fancy So Long uses, and I don't have the thing, it uses a Quilt As You Go hexagon. And so she explains it down below. And she explains it in her videos, so I'll link all that down below. But anyway, so I have the back picked out that I'm going to use for this particular hexagon. And I'm hoping to finish all of them before the next one comes. I think I said that already. Anyway, this is the second one that I've done. This is the little flower pre-printed panel that comes in the kit for the center of these septicons. They're 7-sided. I've never been good at that kind of stuff. But anyway, this is embroidered, and y'all, that center, look at that. Those are French knots. Let me tell you, French knots are much easier to do when you're doing it on embroidery fabric versus cross-stitch fabric. A lot easier. But anyway, this is what I've done. I still have to do the little, you can see right here, these two are sewn together. So I still have to sew the rest together, applique it onto its background, and make it its own little hexagon. Isn't it adorable? Okay, so this is using Tilda fabric. If you are interested, that's all I've done in this. If you are interested in doing this, she is opening up the signups again, and it will start in August. So if you're interested in doing this, jump on over to her site. Let her know that I sent you there. And I don't get anything, but anyway, just let her know that I sent you there. And sign up for it. It is so much fun. I'm enjoying the different projects. Trying something new. Embroidery is something I've dabbled in, but this was really fun. This was a lot of fun. Anyway, I'm babbling still. Oof. Anyway, all right, project number 2. I have a video a while back where a friend of mine gave me a ton of fabric scraps. I think I made a video on that. Anyway, she gave me a bunch of fabric scraps, and I've been making blocks. These are based on the Coriander Quilts Scrapbuster block on her blog. I changed things up a little bit, but this is what I basically based it on. They do need to be trimmed, so y'all gonna have to forgive me of that. But this is one of them. So you can see these are all crumb blocks. And normally I was using a solid, but I had a bunch of this polka dot that I just thought was absolutely amazing. It's yellow with pink polka dots. So I thought I'll use it with the pink fabric. So this is one block and this is the other. So for each colorway, I try to make the 2 blocks that go like this. So tons of fun. This is great mindless sewing when I don't want to think about what I'm sewing. I enjoy doing this. You'll see in this block right here, I'm going to show y'all. Here's the back. Don't look at my horrible seams. You can see I actually had to piece that center polka dot square. I didn't quite have enough for it, but I mean, can you tell? Can you tell? No, you can't. So that's it right there. This is a lot of fun. I enjoy these blocks. The crumb piecing is just a lot of fun. And that's basically what she gave me, was a bunch of crumbs. And some of them she had actually started sewing together. So I've just been kind of using what she already did and making these fabulous little blocks. These are a ton of fun. Okay, on to my snippets stuff. You'll know that I love the snippets from Cotton Cuts. And in my last video, I mentioned that they're doing a challenge, snippet challenge. What can you make using snippets? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my entry into this challenge. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen it already, but this is it right here. And I am counting this as one of my quilt top finishes because it fits into the category of being a quilt top. It is quilted. It is actually finished. And I kind of did it along this, kind of like if you were to, I don't know. My method of doing it was a little weird, but I had fun doing it. So this is all English paper pieced, hand pieced, using the 6-pointed star. The backgrounds are, everything is from snippets, the front and the back. And I'm going to show you the back in a second. So this is right here. It's kind of a candle mat, mug rug, whatever you want to call it. But I do count it as a finish. So this would be finish number 6 in my 60 by 60 challenge. I love it. It was a lot of fun. Now, my intention was to make a quilt out of all these. I do not like sewing these together. I like hexagons. So these were not fun. Too many bulky seams, not fun at all. So I decided to go ahead and just do this instead of a full-size quilt. And so this is why I decided to enter this. Okay, now for the back. There it is, string pieced. So this is, what I did was I string pieced this onto a piece of interfacing. And I made sure to leave a 1/2 inch seam allowance around the whole size of my hexagon. So these are all string. So this side is machine pieced, this side is hand pieced and hand quilted. You can't see the quilting on the back, but it's hand quilted. So this is what I do with snippets right here. They are perfect for English paper piecing. Perfect, perfect for it. Okay, and project number 2 that I'm working on. I have a couple of projects going on. Most of them are EPP, but I do have 2 sewing projects. I'm about to add a 3rd. So, but the second one that I work on mostly is the wonky log cabins. So here's one right here. So these 2 right here, I use a green center with purple, pinks and purples right here. And then the next one, I use a pink center with greens. And you can see they're wonky. So they're not, some of them come out pretty normal. Some of them not so much. But I don't mind. That's just kind of my, this is another, I don't have to think about it sewing. Well, I kind of do, but you know. So that's these right here. So that's what I've done. So this is my May sewing for the month. Not a whole lot. Because I was working on finishing this. So most of my time was spent stitching all the pieces together, and you'll see, you know, I made sure all the little points right here were the polka dot. So it's stitching all these together. So this took up the most of my sewing time this month on the sofa. Most of these were done. I think I had to make 1 or 2 more, and then laying it out and everything. So this was it. So let's talk about my quilt tops. Okay, so this first quilt top right here, like I said, I'm going to try to insert a picture. I'm going to get my husband to hold it up for me, or my son. These were made with blocks that I purchased at my local creative reuse store. They came with a story, and the story was there was a group of women who had like a homemakers club back in the 80s, I guess they were, where they learned different things together. They would go on tours. They would just, it was a group of women who just did fun stuff together, honestly. And one of the things they did was they wanted to all learn how to quilt. And there was a lady, and I should have brought my paper, I didn't bring it with me, who was a quilter. And so she said, I will teach y'all how to quilt. Now this lady, when I looked her up, her name sounded very familiar to me. When I looked her up, she died in 2022. Like in her 90s. She was actually a friend of my aunt's who owned the quilt shop, and my other aunt who quilts actually knew her. When my aunt passed away, my cousin actually asked her to quilt one of my aunt's quilts for her, unfinished quilts. So there's a connection there. So that was kind of fun that I was able to get this. Each of these blocks were made by a different woman. They were made out of a book, and I think it's the same book that I used when my mom taught my friends how to quilt. And I actually have a quilt made the same way, the top. The instructions for the quilt top were to make it into a twin size bed. And so they actually had it to where they made extra blocks to make it into for a twin size bed. But on the piece of paper that I had, there were instructions written to make it more of a lap throw. And so you'll see, I have this fabric right here was actually my stashing and border fabric right here. It was actually in my mom's stash. Now, if you look at this block right here, this one, the X block right there, every single one of those fabrics is in the quilt my mom made me. And I actually have, I don't have it near me, I actually have a bag that my mom had put aside of all the scraps from the quilt that she made me. And I still have the quilt she made me. I've been lovingly safeguarding it, but it was so funny when I pulled that block out, and it was the exact fabrics. Now, obviously, they probably all went to my aunt's store, which is where my mom got my fabric. She was the only quilt shop in town for many, 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 many years. And so, obviously, that's probably where they all went to buy fabrics that matched. So, each one of the blocks has a woman's initials or their name embroidered on it. So that's kind of cool. I do have the piece of paper that came with it. All I have are the ladies' first names, except for the one lady who spearheaded the whole thing. So anyway, this is a fun quilt. My daughter loves it. Of course, she always says mine. Every time I send the family a picture of the quilt top that I finished, she's the first to say mine, mine. She sounds like those little seagulls in what is it, Finding Nemo? Mine, mine, mine. That's her. She's so far claimed all the quilts. So anyway, it's a great quilt. It screams the 80s. I absolutely love it. It's very calico-y, prairie-ish. I don't know. I just love it. I love this quilt. And probably because it is the colors that my mom did for me, and I actually chose the fabrics for it. So it was fun to put it together using fabric from my mom. And I do have a couple of large pieces of this blue floral that's very similar. And I have some mauves and stuff from mom's thing. So I think I'm going to piece a back together for that one, because I think it'll be a lot of fun to do that, to piece the back. I think it would be fun. I've been doing that with a lot of my quilt tops that I've been making, piecing them back and putting them together so that I use up more of the fabric. You know, because my goal is to use up all this fabric that my mom left me, and even some that I've been hoarding for the past couple of years. So that's my plan, is to piece it back using all these mauves and blues and country blues. Look at that country blue up there, and piece a back for it and get it quilted like I hopefully can do all the others. Of course, I'll show you when I get all that done. Anyway, but this is so much fun to make. So much fun to make. Okay, the second quilt is also something that I bought at a creative reuse store. I'm gonna hang it up and I'll get right back to you guys. Okay, there it is. This is quilt top number 3 for this month. So that brings me up to 8 for my goal, 8 for this year. My goal was 10 a year. So I, as of this video, I still have 2 more days. Don't think it's going to happen. But anyway, this is number 8. I am so excited about this quilt. Now this quilt, when I got this quilt top, again, I bought it at a thrift store and it was done to about right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It had 8 rows across and 1, 2, 3, 4 coming down. So I added all this little bit right here. The pieces were all in there. They were all cut. Some of them were cut wrong. I noticed that some of them were too big and some of them were too small. So I just used what I had and I finished it up, and this is it right here. You can see I got 3 yellows, but I don't care about those kind of things. So this is it. This is a cute little baby quilt, I guess. I'll probably give it to one of the girls. I'll probably quilt it up. I don't have any more fabric for it, but I do have some fabric that's very, very similar that I can use to piece it back together. I'm looking at Mom's stuff. I have some yellows, and I know personally I have some very similar fabrics that I can use to piece it back and get this done. This was a lot of fun to make. I made it in I finished it up in 2 hours. It's basically I would be lying. I think these finish out at 3.5. So I think they were 4 inches. So a 4-inch square and a 4 by, I guess, 8. I don't know. Anyway, super easy. Like I said, they were all cut. I just stitched them together, laid them out, figured out how I wanted them, and put them together according to the pattern. Super easy, super, super fast. Even if you just did it on your own, it would be super easy to finish. But that's it right there. So this is number 8. I've done 8 quilt tops. Excited about that. Yay. So I have one more thing to show you, and that is an English paper piece pattern that I forgot to do. I'm looking at it right now, and I need to show you guys that. So that is my Sue Daley's I can't think of the name. I'll put it down here. It's a Sue Daley Sew Along. It was on her blog. I am on step number 6 right now. I finished up step number 5. So I'm on step number 6. And so let me show you where I'm at. So this is it right here. This is where I'm at right now. I am making this out of French General Fabrics. And this right here is step number 6. So you're going to put this little crowning piece right here. So I just did 1. I have them all made. I just need to stitch them on. So anyway, I love it. It's, like I said, it's all French General Fabrics. I love French General Fabrics. So I have it all laid out, what colors I'm going to use, exactly what fabrics I'm going to use. And so anyway, but this is something I just kind of do when I get a chance, because it is bigger. I don't like having it in the living room where the girls are, where they can get to it. So you know, I'll stitch the pieces with them, but when it comes to putting it together, I kind of do it like when they're napping or sleeping at night or something. So anyway, I don't work on it too often, but now that I'm done with this snippet challenge, I'm hoping to pick it up and get a little bit more progress done on it. But anyway, so that's what I have for you guys this month, in the month of May. Like I said, as of filming this, I still have 2 more days. I don't think I'll get that much done, but anyway, so I'm working on another project. So hopefully I'll be able to come sometime in the middle of the month and show you guys another snippet project that I'm working on. And then, you know, just kind of show you. I'm hoping to do that. I would like to. I miss making videos, and I miss talking to everybody and reading your comments and whatnot. But anyway, anyhow, that's all I got for you guys. It was so good talking to y'all. Thank you for joining me today. I really, really appreciate it. I will see you guys hopefully next week, Lord willing. Happy stitching, everybody. Bye-bye.